We are here with Christina Hendricks from Mad Men, and I want to start off by congratulating you for your 5th nomination for this show. That puts you up there with Elizabeth Moss, a couple of nominations behind John Hamm, who's nominated for every season. But what do you think? Like such a big ensemble. John Hamm's the only person who's been nominated at the Emmys more than you. Did you think like that you just get this much acclaim for this show when you started up?
No, we had no idea. We had no idea. We didn't even know if anyone was going to watch it because we were on a network that people didn't acknowledge or know for original programming. And so I remember the first year when we realized people were watching, you know, John got nominated and the show got nominated, and it was so exciting. And here we are, you know, season 7, and people are still watching, so it feels really good.
Yeah, you guys were real like Emmy trailblazers for AMC. You won Best Drama Series 4 years in a row, which equals the records of The West Wing and Hill Street Blues and LA Law, which that show didn't win it 4 years in a row. What was it? What was it like being part of a series that was just getting so many awards and just so much recognition? And you'd go to those Emmy nights, you see Matthew win for writing, and then you'd win the top award just year after year after year.
We got spoiled, I think. It was amazing, and we just kept thinking, oh, it can't happen again. It just can't, you know. It was very, very exciting and continues to be. But I think, you know, on top of that, we're just so proud of the show, and we just work as hard as we can and try to make it as good every single year and try to be as authentic as we can, and that you know, people notice that feels good.
What was it like that 5th year when you didn't win Best Drama Series?
I don't remember. We're a very celebratory group, so really, win or lose, we're going to go out and have fun, and you know, we get to all be together and all dressed up, and we see all of our friends, and you know, we're going to be out all night anyway.
The one thing with Mad Men, it's done so well at awards, but it's sort of one sort of Achilles heel is that an actor has never won an Emmy for Mad Men. It's won a ridiculous number of Emmys. It's got a very full award shelf, but for all the nominations that Mad Men keeps on getting in acting, it's never won. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It is strange to have that many nominations come in for one show and no one take it home. But, you know, we've won SAG Awards and things, which has been great as an ensemble, which has been really, really nice to share that. But it would be fun to see someone finally get one.
One of our editors, Marcus, wanted me to ask if it couldn't be you, which actor would you want to break that sort of Mad Men Emmy acting curse?
That's terrible. I want everyone to get one. Everyone works so hard. Everyone is so amazing. I'm such fans of everyone on the show. It's astounding to me how talented they are, and I get to work with them, and they make me better, and I learn from them constantly. And you know, we just wrapped the show Forever, so it would be a really nice way to send off the show, you know, with someone winning one.
Well, talking about sending people off, in the chat room, our editor Chris wanted me to ask about the goodbye to Robert Morse and sending him off and his final episode on the show last season. What was it like to see him off? One of the other actors that has gotten 5 nominations for Mad Men. So John Hamm's got 7, you, Elizabeth Moss, and Roger Morse have got 5. What was that like sending him off?
It was a very emotional day. Everyone came on set, and there was a really nice cake with Robert's face on it. And you know, to see him do what he does best, which is, you know, perform in that kind of way, sing and dance, and we got to all go and watch him do it, and it was a very tearful afternoon.
We've seen him do a sing and dance number. We've seen the Zooby Zoo from season 1. Are you from a couple of seasons ago with Megan? Are you hoping that you get a musical number? Were you hoping for the final season? You going, oh, come on.
I played the accordion in, I think, season 3 or 4. I sang and played the accordion.
Oh, there we go.
I got mine.
That's good. That is good. Let's talk about your past season on Mad Men, or the first half of the last season. It's been divided up. And you chose to submit for the Emmys this year the episode called The Strategy. What was your strategy behind that choice?
Well, there was just a scene that I thought revealed a lot about the character, and I just thought was a beautiful scene with the character of Bob Benson when he proposes to Joan, and I thought it also was very interesting to sort of tie up that relationship. People had a lot of questions about it, but I thought it was a nice moment for Joan when she reveals that her heart is still looking for someone, and that she's going to fight for it, and it to me solidifies and shows what a fighter she is, and a nurturer, and a loving person. I just thought it was a really beautiful moment for her.
Do you reckon heading towards the end of Mad Men, that was sort of like an important scene in sort of setting up where Joan's head's at and what she's wanting, whether she gets it or not, what she's wanting out of the last sort of 10 episodes of Mad Men?
Well, I think it's been a question that we've seen her ask herself throughout the seasons, and it hasn't worked out the way she thought it was going to work out in many different situations. The father of her child didn't work out, and the husband didn't work out, and so I thought it was a nice moment because I thought, oh gosh, I hope Joan doesn't give up. I hope she doesn't feel defeated. And you can see that she still has that strength and that fire and that love in her.
Yeah, and I guess, yeah, I think it was a good episode choice for you, that one from the past season. What I thought was interesting also in the last season was we really saw Don hit crisis point like we hadn't seen before in the show. And sort of like Joan was a little cold to her friend Don. Not really like, not a shoulder to cry on for Don from Joan. She was like, we need to get rid of this guy. He's costing us money.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at how many people have made that comment to me. A lot of people have said, Joan was mean this year. And, you know, she is a business person, and that's why she's there. And in the past 2 seasons, he's made selfish, egotistical choices that have cost her millions of dollars. And this is a woman who really put herself out there and made some decisions that she thought she would never do in order to protect her family. And this is about protecting her son and making sure he gets an education and that he's healthy and taken care of. And here's a man who just keeps coming back and just pulling the rug out from under her, and she's fed up. I don't blame her.
Yeah. Here's the reason I found that surprising. It was because in the Other Woman episode, it seemed like Don was the only person that was sort of there for her. And it's sort of like, oh man, like when everyone was trying to get Joan to sell herself and things, he was the one guy that sort of was one of the good ones. So I thought maybe, yeah.
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
John and Matt Weiner and myself have talked about that moment quite a bit, and you know, some of the audience thinks, oh, you know, Don was looking out for Joan, but he didn't want her to go in and do that because he wanted to win on his own merits. And there was a selfish part of him that just wanted to know he could get it. And now because Joan did that, he'll never know. So it wasn't all good guy stuff.
That's a good point. That's a fair point. And I guess she ultimately went with what Don didn't want her to do. So it's not like he didn't really affirm the decision she'd made for herself, a decision she has to sort of rationalize and live with. Yeah. So looking towards the final 7 episodes. Now, Matt Weiner in the past has run a pretty tight ship on spoilers. So I'm assuming you can't really say much about what's going to happen in the last 7 episodes, or has he loosened up now you're in the final season?
Can you imagine? He's like, oh, it's fine. You can tell him now. You know what? You're right. We've been very tight-lipped, and we've been able to maintain some secrecy for years, and it's been kind of exciting that it's worked. So we're not about to tell now. Not in the home stretch.
But what was it like wrapping up this series of Mad Men and putting the show to bed? A show that's been a big part of popular culture for a long time and a big part of your career.
Yeah, it's been hard. We've all been very much in contact with one another, and I think we're all sort of grieving in our own ways, but calling each other and giving each other pep talks, and it's hard. It's hard to say goodbye to these characters and to this incredible crew and extraordinary actors, but I think we're all excited about the future and looking at new projects. But it'll always be my heart. It changed my life, and so deeply proud of it and to have been a part of it. It's hard.
What was that last day on set like?
Oh, it was very intense. Everyone was there, and as each person sort of wrapped up a scene, everyone came on set, and each actor got to say their thank yous and goodbyes to the crew, and then Matt Weiner said words for each person, and I think every single time we all started crying again, and then we would go out and wait for the next person, and then it was about 15 hours of saying goodbye. It was hard.
And I guess I don't really want you to spoil anything because I want to see what happens in the show, but what were you hoping to, like, what were you, before you started the final season, did you have any, like, sort of things, oh, I hope this happens in the final season, oh, I wouldn't mind Joan to go in this direction or something like that?
I mean, I would make jokes, I made jokes that I say, Joan lights the whole place on fire, she does a Thelma and Louise with Roger, and, I make all sorts of, something huge and final and crazy, but I didn't really know what I wanted to happen, and I thought, oh, there's no way that I could be satisfied with the ending, because how do you say goodbye? You just can't prepare yourself for that. But I was happy, I'll tell you that much. I was very, very happy.
Where we are currently, which is with 7 episodes to go in the show, where do you think the status of Joan and Roger's relationship is at the moment?
Well, we do see in last season, in the beginning of season 7, that Joan has made some allowances for Roger to be more involved with their child and being sort of more open about that relationship. So, see where it goes.
And I guess another question I wanted to ask you was, what we've got a question in the chat room actually from Irish Movie Lover Forever. After starring in both a long-running show like Mad Men, would you ever consider doing another television show?
I would. I love television. I'm sort of a TV addict myself. I watch everything, and I really enjoy discovering a character over a long amount of time and seeing how they unfold and grow and what is revealed about them. It's very exciting for me. And as long as the show went on, each time you did a scene, there was so much information, so much history to inform your decisions, and anytime a character walked into a room, it just was filled with all this meaty, great history. So I think it becomes rich for the audience as well. And I really enjoy TV. It's got to be something I really fall in love with, because I've gotten really spoiled with this material. So I've got to really fall in love again.
I think as you talk about TV having this great opportunity to develop a character and evolve a character over a certain amount of time, and the richness you can get with that is a good point. And I guess, how do you think Joan has evolved over the sort of 7 years on Mad Men, and what do you think, like, the biggest thing she has learnt or developed, how she developed in the past 7 years?
Gosh, I think she learned so much. I mean, she was watching all the other characters sort of rise in the ranks at work and how they did it, and she's a smart cookie, so I think she really watched and learned, and obviously now she's a partner. You know, she got there under certain circumstances, but you could always tell that she deserved to be there. She was always the one running the show, but she learned, she used all those tools she had in the office politics, and now she's, you know, in a place where she's not a secretary anymore. She's really helping call the shots, and also in her personal life, you can see the choices that she makes towards the end of the season from the beginning are much more informed, come from a deep place of heart and consideration, I think now, and I think she's less flippant. You know, in the beginning of the season, there were a lot of sort of gossipy moments or quick little things that would maybe hurt someone's feelings, and although she still has that sort of fire beneath, I think she's learned to be more mindful and considerate.
Yeah, and do you reckon there's been a point in the history of Mad Men that's been sort of a turning point for Joan, or like sort of her biggest moment of the series?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, she's had situations that have happened to her along the way that have changed who she is. The marriage to her husband raping her, and the decisions she made around that, having her child, you know, certainly the decision to sleep with the head of Jaguar, to become a partner, decision to go with the company and start a whole new company with them when they decided to leave Sterling Cooper. All these things have informed who she is now.
Do you ever go back and watch any of the old Mad Men episodes?
Every once in a while. Sometimes they rerun on AMC and my TiVo records them, and it's so fun to watch. It's very, very nostalgic. I get very, very nostalgic. I love the early seasons.
Yeah, like I've got a friend who just got into it this year, so we've been sort of going through it together this year, and like, boy, there's like things you pick up the second time watching the show, or like that you don't pick up the first time, different characters you focus on. Like, knowing what I know about Joan now, I'm noticing more what she's doing in season 1.
Yeah, it's interesting, and going back and seeing sort of the Pete and Peggy relationship back early on, and physically the two of them changed so dramatically too during the show. It's fun, and things that I just would have forgotten about, and then I thought, oh my gosh, that was such a fun scene to do. Yeah, I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
And we'll sort of wrap up with this question. Oh no, I've got 2 more questions. We'll sort of wrap up with these 2 questions. Firstly, what are you going to miss most about Mad Men?
I mean, the scripts. Every time we got a new script, we would just tear through them, you know. So excited to see what happened, and I've never worked on something that I was so excited to see what happened next. I'm working with this group of people. It was a phenomenal learning experience for me.
And finally, I don't know if you know this, but in the category for supporting actress, only I think 5 actresses have been nominated more times than you have in that category. So it's like you've done quite well for yourself getting 5. It's Tyne Daly, Nancy Marchand, Betty Thomas, Barbara Boston, and Stockard Channing, and most of them were for multiple roles, not for one character or one performance. So you know, like, hopefully either this year or next year you'll be able to win the Emmy.
Well, that's pretty good company. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah. No worries at all. So, Christina, thank you so much for spending time with us today, talking Mad Men, talking the Emmys, and all the best. Hopefully one of these days one of you actors is going to win one.
That would be nice. That would be fun. Thanks for having me
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Christina.
Bye.